Okay, continue with this thing. I think that's going to fall, but if it falls, it falls. Okay. Okay, thus said the Lord of Hosts. This is the reason why I'm reading this is because it seems to be going along with what's happened in the Iraq ever since Saddam invaded Kuwait, and now culminating with ISIS in Mosul. That's why I'm reading this thing. I've been paying attention to Jeremiah 15:51 since decades. So anyway, but the scriptures have changed with their meaning over times, and it'll probably change it again. But right now, I'll be reading them and see what you think of how it could be for our time here. Okay, all right. Thus saith the Lord of Hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And I think that happened with ISIS taking the Yazidis and the Kurds and things and the Christians. A lot of them don't know that they have Israeli blood in them due to the diaspora of the Jews and Israelis out of Babylon a long time ago. I think they became mixed to the point where they have Israeli blood in them. You can have Israeli blood in you and not be Jewish, is what's coming down. Because only the tribe of Judah I know is Jewish. So I'll continue here. All right. But I think a lot of Kurds, especially, have Israeli blood in them. Their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of Hosts is his name. He shall surely plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Well, it's definitely being disquieted now. To me, Babylon now is not just Iraq, but Sunni Islam. A sword is upon the Chaldeans, and the Chaldeans are located in Iraq, saith the Lord, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon. Inhabitants of Babylon, again, to me, that would be Iraq. And upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon their liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon their mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. And that seems to be fulfilled about become as women, because ISIS, to try to escape out of Mosul, dressed up in women's clothes to try to keep from getting, a sword upon them. They became as women, and during the Gulf War, when Saddam saw them giving up and stuff, they saw them kissing the Americans' feet, the Iraqis, and Saddam said, "Gee, they're like women." They became like women. I go, "Yes, Saddam, you're right." So that it's happened more than once here. A sword is upon her treasures. It definitely was a sword upon her treasures. Those during the Gulf War, actually during the second Gulf War, there was a sword upon her treasures. They blew up that museum, and then when ISIS came down, destroyed all those priceless treasures of those images of their, gods and things. Destroyed them. They definitely put a sword to them, if you want to think of it that way. And they shall be robbed, and they were robbed during the second Gulf War in 2003. They were robbed in Baghdad and stuff. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Now that I think that's been fulfilled a long time ago. But if you study Islam, there's idols in Islam too. Therefore, the wild beasts of the desert and the wild beast of the wild beasts of the lands shall dwell there. Oh, excuse me. The wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Now that could be talking about Babylon, the real ruins of Babylon, or it could be a lot more creepier if that whole land becomes wiped out due to Iran using nukes later on in the future. because a blamer gave Iran $150 billion. Let them have $150 billion plus 24 days to hide nuclear access. So that tells me if Iran gets the bomb, it really could be desolate, like it's talking about here. Talking about Iraq. Or it could be symbolic, meaning that Babylon could also be Sunni Islam, and then when Sunni Islam is destroyed, it becomes a desolate religion. All right. Behold, the people shall come from the north. And to me, the people that come from the north are the Kurds. And a great nation. It could be America. Because right now, the Kurds are coming down against ISIS in Mosul with America giving them the air cover. And many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. And the coasts of like Qatar and Emirates and things like that. I think the earth is not the whole earth, but the earth around in the Arabian Peninsula. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. They will not show mercy to ISIS. That's how I see it. As their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, everyone put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. Now this could have been also fulfilled when the Mongols came down with their horses too. So it could be a mixture of that and what's happening, because it seems like Bible prophecy has a tendency to repeat itself. So it fits through the centuries. But for our time, I think it's talking about the Kurds and America giving them air cover to overthrow ISIS in Mosul. That's what I'm thinking. Mosul right now is like the last holdout of Babylon. Let's see, I better stop it here. Bye.